It is with great pleasure that we can announce here on The Faction that the debut Spiritbox album is coming. You can blast it into your headphones on September 17. We've already had a taste with a few singles. More on that latest single, Secret Garden, minutes away. People with impressive credentials have worked behind the desk on this album. We'll get to that soon. You see, at The Faction, we prefer to go to the source. Spiritbox singer Courtney LaPlante joins me now. Courtney, thank you for speaking to The Faction.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Eternal Blue is the name of this debut album. I've heard bands say that your first album in some ways is the album that you've been writing your whole life. Are there pieces of your entire life in this thing?
Yes, there always is. This is the first thing I've ever been able to write on this scale, with pretty much towards the end of it having all the resources that I could ever want and all the time I could ever want, and just not really any excuses that I normally would have to hold myself back from creating something that sounded exactly like I wanted. And so now it's like all those excuses that I've always had my whole life of, oh, I can't afford to do this, or there's not a market for this, or the people in my band don't want to do this. All that's completely gone, and like each door is just yes. Every door is just opened with a yes, and here it is.
The latest single, Secret Garden. Your vocals on this song, for the most part, They could exist in an R&B song. They're so soothing. It's a lot slower than what you normally do. Is this the closest thing to a ballad that we're going to hear on this new album?
I think so. There's another song we have that we put out last year that's going to be on the album called Constant. That one's even more slow. But I think those two are definitely like outliers. Yeah, it's so funny though. I don't know what it is. I think it's just in metal music. It's like every time you put out a song, everyone is always like, "Oh, I hope that this isn't what you're gonna sound like forever." But I think when people hear this album, I think it will kind of just make them feel like all these songs that they've heard are little bits of pieces of the puzzle to the whole, which is the whole album, Eternal Blue. So I don't know. There are some softer moments on the album, but I don't know. I wouldn't consider them any ballads. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I'm so close to the material right now, so it's really hard for me to analyze it. When you hear it, you'll be like, duh, there's a ballad. But right now I'm like, I can't analyze it properly.
Yeah. It's been produced and mixed by Dan Braunstein and mastered by, I believe it's Jens Bogren. What impact did these individuals have on the album?
Well, Dan's been there every step of the way with us, mixing every song and mastering every song you've ever heard. But this time was different, where we actually got to work with Dan and he got to produce us. And then for the first time ever, we were able to have a mastering budget. Normally Dan just does it, and he's great at it, but he just does it out of necessity, the same reason that we do most of the stuff in this band. It's not out of passion. It's like necessity. Someone needs to do it.
Yeah, in Australia, that's called mates' rights.
Yeah, you got it. Someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so having something mastered by an actual mastering engineer, I thought that maybe there'd be subtleties that would be lost on me, but they aren't. It just changes everything, and it made us all appreciate how important mastering is to a project.
I've had a little look at Jens Bogren's, the man who mastered the album. I've had a look at his resume: Opeth, Sepultura, Arch Enemy, Baby Metal. Is there anything else we should know about this guy?
Well, the reason that we loved him and immediately were like, let's see what this guy can do, is because he did the last Loathe record, and he mastered that, and so we were like, sold. That's like one of our favorite sounding records.
And the good news is, 2021, your calendar is really starting to fill up. I know everything is a little bit TBC in 2021, but it looks like there are some big festivals that you're going to be a part of. Is there any particular one that you are most excited about?
No, it's more like, is there anyone that I'm not extremely scared of? That's when the answer is no, because like everything, I didn't intend for like my UK debut and my US debut to be on these this scale. I intended to work hard so that I didn't have to have my debut be like at a 20-person pub in San Francisco or something. But I didn't quite ever anticipate that my debut with this band would be like on all these big festivals. So we have a lot of work to do, but I think that's how we also work the best, is under pressure. And I think that I'm looking forward to all of them equally, because I'm just looking forward to like being amongst all these legendary artists and watching what they do, how their backstage stuff works, how their, what does their guitar tech do to load the guitars up properly, all those little nerdy things. I'm just so excited to be a part of and get to witness, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Spiritbox, Eternal Blue, it's out September 17. You can already listen to a handful of the singles if you can't wait that long. Courtney, congratulations on the album, and thank you for speaking to The Faction today.
Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it.